Surrey Hills Radio.
So Heather, tell us a little bit about the history of the Rainbow Trust.
Well, Rainbow Trust was registered as a charity in 1986, and that followed 5 years of our founder Bernadette Cleary working with families who had a child with a life-threatening or terminal illness. She was asked to do that quite by chance because she was very well known through her foster care, and gradually by word of mouth she was asked to work with families over a bigger and bigger area and realise what a desperate need there was for families who needed help at home.
Okay, and you're based here in Leatherhead, and you've been here for 30 years, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Yes, because Bernadette lived locally. She lived and still lives in Fetcham. So yes, we started here, we've grown up here, and the only changes we've made are as our office grows bigger, we've had to move to bigger offices. So this is very much our head office now, and where our Surrey team are based.
Okay, and you travel nationwide, don't you? Is that right?
Northern and southern counties of England. Yeah, we'd love to be nationwide, we'd love to be UK-wide, but at the moment we have 9 teams, 6 of them spread across the southern counties of England and 3 across the north.
Okay, and what's a typical sort of day in the life of one of the support workers?
Oh my goodness, there isn't a typical one, they're always different. We're working with families in very complex situations, so no 2 days are the same. Always it's going out to visit a family either at home or in the hospital, and we will be there to look after the whole family because they have a sick child. So we may be supporting or playing with the siblings one day, taking healthy brothers and sisters to school, or sitting in the hospital with the child, while the parents can go home and perhaps have a shower, see their other children. Just anything and everything. The variety is endless. We also help schools learn about what's going on with the child if the child's in school, and support them in talking to other students about what's going on.
Yeah, I think people don't often realise that when a child's ill, it's not just the child and the parent, it's the siblings and the whole family that are affected.
It
so
is.
You're offering support to really make a difference to everybody and make it easier for the siblings especially, isn't it?
Especially the siblings, but mum and dad as well. Very often there's a breadwinner in the family, so if we can help so that the person can keep their job, then that's really important. And we just like to give families the feeling and the possibility that they can cope when really they don't know how they can. So it's little by little, and helping them seek support and finance and things like that would just help all of these things come together for them.
So it's not just actually going to the families and supporting them and visiting them, you actually take them to places they need to go as well?
We certainly do, yes. So we'll transport siblings to school so that their life is as normal as possible. We also take families to and from hospital appointments. Sometimes these appointments are really challenging, and particularly if families don't have a good grasp of English, and we will help them prepare, take them to the hospital, accompany them to the appointment, and then go over the information that they've heard. And that really helps them remember, because we're all the same when we hear news, and it's very important. We hear the first bit and it's very difficult to remember everything else that's said, particularly if you're frightened or worried, and our families naturally are. So we do lots and lots of transport. We take children for days out so that they have some fun. And we try and keep the families together, so we might be with the siblings in the hospital, having transported the family there. So it's a really big part of our work.
And I noticed from the pictures out there's a lot of children that you've worked with for quite a long time as well, you've got to know, and they've become little mini celebrities in their own right sometimes.
They have, yeah, some of our families do lots of work for us, which is really helpful. Some blog, some are interviewed in the media, and of course we make videos of them, which is what people really want to hear about. They're a big part of our lives, and our support continues if a child dies. We offer bereavement support on an unlimited basis to families for as long as they feel they need it, and obviously that's different for adults and children, but it is a big part of our work.
Yeah, very important part of the work.
It is for families, and so if a child dies, when a child dies, the family naturally loses contact with all the nursing and medical staff that have been part of their daily lives. So to have an organisation like Rainbow Trust that's still there and working with them is really important to them. Somebody who knew their child and is happy to talk about them and have those shared memories.
Can you tell us a little bit about how Rainbow Trust has grown and changed in the last few years?
Well, obviously we've grown and grown and grown and grown in the last 30 years. 5 years ago we were helping almost 1,000 families. Last year we helped over 1,900. which is a fantastic growth, and that follows our decision to concentrate our services entirely into communities, which is a decision we took in 2009-10. So we're really proud of our growth, and there are so many more families out there. We now have over 100 staff. Over 60 of those are directly involved in working with families and supporting the care services. So it's a really exciting organisation.
So that's 100% growth in just 5 years?
It is, yes.
That's a really big success story. It's great for a leatherhead business to have that sort of a track record.
It is, and our staff numbers are going up. We're a good employer, so we're always looking for good quality staff, and we want to recruit people who live locally and who want to make a difference in their own communities. That's wherever we're based. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities for people to be employed at Rainbow Trust, as well as to volunteer and help with our fundraising and things like that. So last year we worked with over 1,900 families for about £5 million a year, which is a fantastic scale. It really is. Good value.
Okay, so obviously all of this needs funding.
It does.
And that's an ongoing problem for all charities, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's the same for you.
It is. 98% of our funds come from people like you and me, the Man in the Street fundraising, through events, donations, and there are grant-making trusts that are a big part of our funding, but we receive less than 2% from the government. Through a variety of contracts.
And I know you've got a big team that organise events and things like that. Just tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have in an average year.
In an average year, our fundraisers are immensely creative. So sporting challenges are really important to us. The London Marathon is our biggest physical activity, but people climb Kilimanjaro, other people walk 5 kilometres. School children might do a toddler trot and do a few turns around the field. And then there's the big glitzy events, of course. We have a couple of those, a London Carol concert with celebrity readers. We usually have a big event at the Savoy. And of course local events like our Carol concert at Bookham every year and the Fates and Fairs. So really the community fundraising is our backbone, I would say.
I myself have been along to some of your events, and they're always very, very well organised and very well supported as well.
Thank you.
How do you get the message out to everybody?
About these events?
Social media and things like that.
Social media, so everyone please look at our website, rainbowtrust.org.uk. You can sign up to Facebook, Twitter, all sorts of things. We love to have communications. Our families use them, and it is the best way and the quickest way to find out what's going on.
Okay, and anything coming up in the future, in the near future, that people can look out for?
Well, we've got a couple of big events on the 11th of March at the Savoy that I've already mentioned. It's a ladies' champagne afternoon tea with fashion show. Amanda Wakely is our designer this year. And then we have wine tasting in the evening, an event called Corks and Couture. There'll be first growth tastings with a fashion show and an auction. So they're our biggest events of the year.
And is there any specific celebrations for the 30th?
We're actually going to use everything we do this year to celebrate the 30th because it is such an achievement. So we have our 30th logo, which we will be branding over everything, and all the events that are taking place, we will encourage people to make those reflect our 30th.
And what about the future for Rainbow Trust?
The future. Well, sadly, there will always be families that will need our services. So for us, our vision is that families everywhere have access to one of our fabulous Rainbow Family Support Workers, and therefore we want to be helping more and more families. That's our big ambition, and of course that's all funding dependent.
Okay, so if we were to sort of give you a couple of sentences to talk to our listeners about, to say, an appeal, shall we say, what would you say to them?
Rainbow Trust is a very special organisation because it supports every member of the family. We're there 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and anything and everything that you can do will make a difference to families, whether that's a donation, volunteering. We have a huge army of volunteers that come into our office, help us at events, man the phones for us. They really are the backbone of what we do, and there are ways for everybody in families everywhere to give up time or money and help us. And of course talk about what we're doing.
So it's really not just a case of, putting a few pennies in a bucket. It's actually volunteering, it's awareness, it's sharing the information and things like that. So it's really important that our listeners get onto Facebook and Twitter and keep in touch with what you're doing, because you have some really good events.
We do. There's really something for everybody. You can come to the London Marathon. You don't have to be fit, you don't have to be athletic. Join one of our cheering squads, and we do that at lots of events all around the country, but especially here in the south, of course.
And do you live locally as well?
I live in Leatherhead, yes.
Okay,
I'm book and born and bred. Moved to Leatherhead a few years ago, so lifelong.
And what do you like about that town?
Oh, Leatherhead. I like the restaurants, of course. There are more and more restaurants. Leatherhead does have a real feel that it's a community that's been around for a long time, and I remember the old Leatherhead, and I'm really excited about the Transform Leatherhead plan. So definitely. I live in a lovely old Victorian cottage. You've got the mixture of the old and new in Leatherhead, so it's a nice place to be and great for travel everywhere. Yeah,
it's perfectly based for London and sort of coming back out into the rural life a little bit.
And the airports, we've got Gatwick and Heathrow both on our doorstep, so it's a good place to be. And Junction 9, what else could we ask for?
Just walking through your office there, it's quite a bustle of activity, isn't it? There's a lot of people there.
There are, but there's a lot of volunteers in as well. So we like to live and breathe what we do. So you'll have seen as you came in all the photos of our events and some of the families that we work with, and people like coming to work here. We're fortunate to have secured a place again in the Sunday Times top 100 not-for-profit companies to work for, and that's straight through staff voting. So we're really proud of that. People like working at Rainbow Trust, and we're very committed to them as well.
Well, I know that the team at the Surrey Hills Radio are really proud to have you as a charity.
Thank you.
Now. And I'm sure we'll be doing lots of things to try and promote you and let our listeners know what's going on. So make sure you look at our website as well and stuff. And there'll be plenty of other things going on, I'm sure.
Well, thank you to the team for choosing Rainbow Trust, and to all your listeners. And please do look at our website, www.rainbowtrust.org.uk. Thank you.
Thanks for talking to us, Heather.
Okay.